They say a king falls to a sword. They say he falls to an army. They are wrong.
His kingdom was destroyed, completely burned to ashes.
The Golden Kingdom. There was once a saying whispered across every kingdom on the continent. As long as King Seri William sits upon the golden throne, darkness will never rule the world. No one knew who had spoken those words first. Yet over the years, they became more than a saying. They became a truth. Far beyond the seas, across snow-covered mountains and endless deserts, the name Seri William carried a weight unlike any other. To merchants, he was the protector of trade. To the poor, he was the king who never allowed his people to starve. To his enemies, he was the ruler whose armies had never known defeat. And at the center of it all stood the magnificent kingdom of Seriphus. Its towering walls stretched farther than the eye could see. Its markets overflowed with silk, spices, jewels, and gold from every corner of the world. Its people laughed openly in the streets without fear of thieves or invading armies. For nearly 3 decades, peace had become a way of life. But history has a cruel habit. It often destroys those who believe peace will last forever. As dawn broke over Seriphus, the first rays of sunlight struck the palace towers, turning them into pillars of gold. The great bells echoed across the capital. One by one, the city awakened. Blacksmiths lit their furnaces, merchants opened their stalls. Children raced through the streets, chasing one another while their parents smiled from nearby windows. From the highest balcony of the royal palace, a tall figure stepped into the morning light. King Seri William. His black and gold robes flowed gently in the wind. A crown of polished gold rested upon his head, not as a symbol of wealth, but as a reminder of responsibility. He looked down upon thousands gathered in the royal square. Every citizen fell silent. Then, as if speaking with one voice, they bowed. "Long live King Seri William!" The sound rolled through the city like thunder. The king raised a single hand. "My beloved people," his deep voice reached every corner of the square. "Today, as yesterday, I make you the same promise." He paused. "So long as I wear this crown, no child shall sleep hungry." The crowd erupted into applause. "No family shall live in fear." The cheers grew louder. "And no enemy shall ever claim this kingdom." The people shouted his name until it echoed beyond the palace walls. Watching from behind, his father stood a young man with calm eyes and a thoughtful expression, Prince Adrian William. Unlike the cheering crowd, Adrian remained silent. He admired his father with all his heart. Yet he often wondered how one man could carry the hopes of an entire kingdom. When the ceremony ended, the prince followed the king into the palace. "You seem troubled," Seri William said. "I was thinking." "A dangerous habit for a prince," the king joked with a warm smile. Adrian smiled back. "Father, what happens when people expect one man to solve every problem?" The king stopped walking. He placed a hand upon his son's shoulder. "Then that man must never stop serving them." "But what if he fails?" The king looked toward the stained glass windows where sunlight painted the floor with brilliant colors. "A king is not remembered because he never falls." He looked directly into Adrian's eyes. "He is remembered because he rises every time he does." The prince nodded quietly. Those words would remain with him for the rest of his life. Deep within the palace stood the council chamber. Only 5 people besides the king were permitted to enter without invitation. Each had earned the privilege through years of loyalty. The first was Sir Roland Ashford, commander of the Royal Guard. Tall, broad-shouldered, and bearing a scar across his cheek, Roland had defended the kingdom through countless battles. He bowed before the throne. "My king, every border remains secure." "No signs of invasion?" "None." King Seri William smiled. "Excellent." Beside Roland sat Lady Alara Wynne, the kingdom's chief advisor. Unlike the generals, she carried no weapon. Her strength was knowledge. Ancient books, detailed maps, and carefully organized reports covered the enormous table before her. "Our harvest exceeded expectations," she reported. "Trade with neighboring kingdoms continues to grow. Crime remains at its lowest level in 20 years. The king nodded proudly. "This is what peace should look like." A soft chuckle echoed from the opposite end of the table. Every eye turned toward Lord Malric Thorne. Elegant, well-spoken, always smiling. Yet something about him unsettled even the bravest soldiers. "My king," Malric began politely, Peace is a beautiful thing. It is. But peace has one weakness. The room became quiet. It teaches people to forget that danger exists. Sir Roland folded his arms. Your imagination has always been dramatic. Malric smiled. My imagination has saved my life more than once. The king leaned back in his chair. What danger do you see? Malric looked toward the palace windows. I don't know. Then why worry? Because every great empire believed it would last forever. Silence settled over the chamber. Lady Alara lowered her eyes, for reasons she could not explain. Lord Malric's words disturbed her. That evening, Seriphus celebrated the Festival of Unity. Thousands of lanterns floated into the night sky. Musicians filled the streets with joyful songs. Families danced beneath glowing lights while children laughed without care. King Seri William walked among his people without royal guards surrounding him. He greeted merchants by name. He accepted flowers from children. He listened patiently to elderly citizens. To many rulers, a crown was a symbol of power. To Seri William, it was a promise. As he returned toward the palace gardens, he stopped before a marble statue. Queen Isabella, his beloved wife, gone for many years. He gently touched the cold stone. I wish you could see Adrian. He has become wiser than I ever imagined. Behind him, Prince Adrian quietly approached. You still speak to Mother? The king smiled faintly. Every day. Do you think she hears you? I hope so. The prince looked toward the stars. I hope she knows we're trying to make you proud. For a long moment, neither father nor son spoke. Sometimes silence carried more meaning than words ever could. Miles away from the celebration, far beyond the golden walls of Seriphus, lay a forgotten place called Black Hollow. Here the streets were broken. The houses leaned as though exhausted by years of suffering. No music played. No lanterns floated through the sky. Only darkness. Inside a small wooden room, a young woman stood before a cracked mirror. She tied back her long black hair. On the table beside her rested a faded family portrait. A smiling mother, a proud father, a little girl standing between them. The woman picked up the picture carefully. They celebrated today, she whispered. They celebrated while this place still remembers the screams. A tear escaped her eye. She quickly brushed it away. No, her voice became firm. I cried long enough. She placed the photograph into a leather satchel. Beside it lay an old letter written in faded ink. It was the last message her father had ever written. If you survive, do not allow hatred to consume your heart. She closed her eyes. I tried, Father. I truly tried. She looked toward the distant glow of Seriphus, visible beyond the hills. But justice never came. She extinguished the candle. Darkness filled the room. When the moon emerged from behind the clouds, she stepped outside wearing a dark traveling cloak. The wind carried her voice into the night. If the king will not answer for the past, then I will make the future answer for him. She took one final look at the place she had called home. Then she walked toward the kingdom whose people believed nothing could ever threaten their perfect world. Her name was Celine Voss. Neither the king, nor his loyal commander, nor the wise advisor, nor even the ambitious Lord Malric Thorne had ever heard her name. But before long, every one of them would. And when they did, the Golden Kingdom would never be the same again.